Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, we're going to be seeing a video today, and this is another one from Traveling with Roshel. All right, this one is titled Captured NATO Equipment Has Appeared in the Center of Moscow. Okay, I really would love to see it. All right, so if you're curious to see this with me, please subscribe, and if you find this video interesting, do what to like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, so guys, let's jump in.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Roshel, and welcome to Moscow. Welcome to a rather interesting video that I want to show you. It's right behind me. We're going to head on inside and check it out.
I love how detailed his videos are.
The area now. I'm only going to focus on one area, and that's number 10, just up here, very close by a Minskaya railway station. Now this is Park Pobede, or Victory Park, depending on how you understand the name of the place. And this is a very large park which honors the events of the Great Patriotic War, also other events in history which Russia was involved in, and then also there is some monuments to other battles around the world. And then the place where we're going to go to is right here. It's called the Gora Museum, and this has actually been here for a lot of years, and it focuses on vehicles and different military equipment from the Great Patriotic War or World War II, depending on how you understand what happened. There's actually a sign here, and it's very interesting museum because this is actually in Russian and in English. Now, the entire place, I would need to make a video that would be hours and hours long, but I just want to focus on this one part of the museum. It's really quite a fascinating place if you're into militaria or the history of events that happened dating back to the 1900s and then the Great Patriotic War in the 1940s. This place would be definitely somewhere that would be worth visiting if you're in Moscow. Just as a point of reference, I'm here on a Wednesday afternoon. It was actually raining pretty much the entire day, and as I got here, it stopped. And actually there's some blue sky trying to peer out. And this is a working day here in Russia. And I really don't expect anybody to be here. There might be a couple of people at best. And this is open year-round, this entire area. And you can come here. Ideally, if you're going to come, you need about a whole day to walk around slowly and to take in what you're seeing and what you're looking at. However, this part on the right-hand side is what we're going to walk around and show. You know, there is actually other parts that you can see.
Oh wow, this park actually looks big
they've set up
with different segments.
Exposition with recovered equipment and mostly NATO supplied equipment that's been recovered from Ukraine. And I'm going to walk around and just show them to you, and at the best look at the signs and understand the different models that they've got on display. So there is actually flags on the signs, and I think this is the Cossack, if I remember rightly. So there is quite a few, I think what's described as army personnel carriers. Now this display itself is brand new, and it started only about 2 weeks ago. And a good friend told me about this and suggested that I come here to have a look at what they've got on display. Now what they've got here is different from what they had last year when they had the Victory Day events going on, and they've set up essentially a new display. Now most of the things that you come to see here are all outdoor expositions, and they just park things up, they put some barriers around it, and that's about it. Now there is differing equipment here in different condition. I mean, some of them literally completely usable and drivable. You see here though, damaged tires, and it looks like some kind of damage here to this front window, and definitely the turret up the top took a bit of a knock. Now, not everyone is of course going to be interested in this sort of video, and I completely understand that. The last time I made a video about this equipment, it went on to get almost 1 million views, and it was a complete surprise to me because a lot of people went to that same display that I did. So you'll see also they're a little bit weathered as well. I think as quick as they've been recovered, you can see also where the paint sort of stripped away and the rust is coming on them. There's even model numbers written on part.
Shout out to Traveling with Roshel. All right, I love his coverage. I love how he goes to lots of display centers to like give us real unfiltered videos, because some of these videos, I am so sure that most times we don't get to see this in the news, we don't get to see this in the media. All right, it's just from people like this who like go personally to like have recording of this. And I'm also even shocked and surprised that they actually allowed him to like cover this video and post, because I don't think so many people will love to like give their permission for people to just come and record videos like this. But I'm kind of glad he made his way and then he's showing us this, because I'm pretty sure if not for this video we are seeing right here, I don't think we'll be able to see it anywhere else. All right, so
them as
interesting.
So there is actually information about the particular model of it, even the manufacturing and things like that. Now, I don't need to be rude and say the wrong things, because of course I'm going to get lots of comments already. I wonder if this was some kind of a canopy that came over the top. The one thing that you do notice though is the condition that they're in. You know, of course there is damage on them. That's quite noticeable. And then other parts, nothing at all. Obviously lost its tracks. And then you can quite literally see inside the cab right there. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Hawaii and been to the Pearl Harbor display and done the museum experience there. They have speakers that play background noise, and they've got the same thing here coming through these speakers. You may hear it on my microphone. This is one of the American M113 right there. Yeah, at the display in Hawaii or Pearl Harbor, they've got this same background noise going on, and the sound of explosions and gunfire and things like that. Have a look at the hole right there on the side. Just the actual splutter from it. That's the right word. This whole back door has just been blown off. I wonder at some point if they've had to change the interior signage for them to understand the capabilities and the usage of it. When I set out to come here this morning,
I can only imagine the heat this vehicle went through.
One of the Australian Bushmasters on display, and it is quite literally the fourth object as you walk in. And this one is definitely not the one I saw last year. This is a completely different model, and the one that they had on display for the Victory Day events was completely a burnt out shell, and this one from the front looks in reasonable condition. So again, all the information talking about the history of it, and they said that it was used in the incursion into Kursk, which was when Ukraine crossed over to the Russian territory. Okay, walking around now, you see, I would imagine, where the hit took place, right under this back axle, because it's gone completely. The actual front and cab doesn't look too bad. I remember on the Australian news at the time when they were putting these stickers on the front and side of the equipment before it left Australia. And they loaded them into airplanes and then took them to Poland, and then they ended up in Ukraine. These back windows took some damage as well. So number 73, so serial number BM0532, if that has any meaning. You can see the seats inside and seat belts, and then right into the cab, the electronics. So nothing has been really taken out of it. Maybe some things from this shelf were removed. Now I know a lot of people don't like when I point on camera, and I apologize for that.
There's really no need to apologize.
And just actually moving these things,
it's your video, so you can point fingers as much as you want to.
I wonder if they added some extra plating on the side to protect, which probably looks like the fuel tank here on this side. United with Ukraine. So it's sitting here in Moscow. So either number 73 or number 15 right there. This is Australian taxpayer dollar.
Okay.
In the flesh. Now, I'm an Australian who lives here in the Moscow region. I live about 45 minutes away from Park Pobeda. Actually, the railway line that passes by here, which I took to get here, heads off in my direction to take me home or bring me into Moscow. You probably can hear that background noise. Seems to have got a little bit louder. M113, American troop carrier. So there's a plate that they've added on the front here. It looks like they've added something additional. Well, the tracks are gone. It's obviously had some shrapnel damage. It's really very interesting when you walk around. Now, I'm here during the week when naturally there won't be people coming here unless people have a day off. Look at the hit it's taken right here. Not nearly as comfy as the Australian one, just some benches. And it's like you're walking around ghosts. I don't know if that's an expression that sounds correct or not. Now, I have been to the main museum here before. I've been to quite a few different ones here in Moscow and then further afield in Moscow region. American Cougar 4x4. And these are big machines though. When you're standing alongside them, just how high up they are and how high up they sit. So So naturally all with tire damage, and then sort of bullets sprayed everywhere. It's just interesting to see the condition and what they look like. I mean, the sheer size of them, and then the fact that you've only got seating for 5 or 6 people. Just all of the stuff just strewn about inside, and the electrics. I mean, this is a big, I'm going to say the word truck. I know I'm saying things not correctly. Just the damage to these windows as well. You kind of wonder how when you look at them. So there's quite a lot of other posters and pictures of what's happening at the moment and what has happened. Actually, this is a display by the news agency here in Russia. You can see some of the photographs. There's an anti-drone gun, I guess is the word, right there. So I hope this video is interesting for a few people. Whether it'll get views, I'm not sure. International MaxxPro. I think this gets a lot of coverage. Again, and this is twice the height of I am, or more. Warning signs right there. I mean, the engine cover is off right there, and then you can see the radiator. And I don't know this color scheme. Someone mentioned this last time at the other display that I went to, that quite a lot of these were possibly used in Afghanistan or in Iraq, and they were kind of color schemed to the desert colors, and then they were slightly modified for sending them to Ukraine. You can see in the cab right here just the things that have kind of got ripped out of it and cuts, and it's just a massive unit. It's how low the suspension sits as well. There's obviously some sort of turret that they had at the top. They've actually got some cage or wiring around it. Obviously didn't do it too well. Again, just lower damage right here. And then all the cables. Actually, since I've got here, the weather's improving by the minute, and I was a little bit in fear of it going to be raining the whole afternoon, and skies have opened up. Actually, now that we're heading towards winter, it gets dark a lot earlier, so you get these kind of interesting red skylines in the early afternoon. And having a walk around and checking these out. Now, I think the video might run a little bit long. I do want to walk around all the exhibits. Looks like there's about 20 different pieces of equipment here, and the video will be solely on this part of the entire museum. So enjoy, if that's the right word. There's a British piece of equipment right here called the Mastiff. And it's actually got both flags on it, because it says on the sign that this is the British version of the American Cougar that we saw a little bit earlier. And this one has the protection all around it. It's actually a lot lower sitting as well.
Oh, Cougar.
It's
British
very interesting
fashion.
the way it's profiled. And there's a grill.
Okay, what's this one used? Why is it covered
here.
round like this?
You just have a look at the metal, how it's warped.
Why is it built like this? Let me know in the comment section.
No tires or no wheels. And again, this...
I can only imagine what this is used for. This one that is covered everywhere.
At the same time,
it's even really going to be difficult for one to actually escape from it.
Absolute.
Or maybe they have a swift exit.
So the exterior, it's in reasonable condition, I would say. Okay, on this side, wow, look at the hole right there, and then one more. Okay, maybe I'm underestimating the damage, but it's interesting.
What's this vehicle used for? I really would love to know.
They've got this circular
because this is the first time I'm seeing something like this. Everywhere is just covered.
Isn't as protected. I don't see any kind of numbering on this at all. I wonder if there's any way to reference some of these. Here is another Cossack. This one's had the front windows taken out. And then whatever the turret was at the top. 31403. The sky looks like we might even get a bit of a sunset today, if the clouds clear away enough. Okay, a lot of damage again.
Wow, watching this video, like the only thing on my mind, the only thing running through my head, the only thing I actually and truly care about is peace between this country, peace between Russia and Ukraine, because at the end of it all, lives are going to be lost from both countries. All right, like, so it's, I really do not like it. I really do not like it. I really wish for peace for the both country. And I love how neutral traveling with Roshel is in his videos, because these type of videos can really be sensitive. All right, sensitive. People can actually like think different things, because one can only imagine what really happened to people who are in this vehicle. At the end of it all, people are getting killed, lives are getting destroyed and all of that, and it's really not cool. It's sad, and I really wish for peace between this country. Like I pray that there's going to be a day where these both countries will unite with love and unity at the same time. All right, so it's kind of sad seeing these vehicles and then imagining what actually happened to the people inside of these vehicles. All right, so, and another question I want to ask is, all these captured equipment, captured vehicles, are the Russians actually going to use them, or like they just keep them for history purposes? Do they like rebrand them to their own and then use it, or they just keep them? Because I know there might be tons of them. All right, maybe like a particular model, maybe they might capture a particular model, like more than 1, 2, 3. Like, do they like keep all of them same model, or they just keep one and then rebrand the rest and use? Please let me know in the comment section. I really do not know anything about all of this. All right, but I'm just curious. Like, I really want to know. Maybe this is even a personal questions, like I don't really expect anyone to answer me, but I'm just even curious to know. All right, so
inside, and these are not tidied up or cleaned up, you know, purely to be used as a museum piece. I mean, when you go to some of the World War II or Great Patriotic War displays, they've actually, I'm going to say the word, fixed up some of them. and made them as museum exhibits. However, these are how they are, quite literally, just brought here. The German Marder 1A3. So we do ask anybody watching to maybe put some comments, or maybe you were enlisted in the military at some point and you know of these different equipments on display. The track's completely missing. And if you know of these objects that I'm showing, and I'm not in any way knowledgeable about military equipment. My real knowledge is about supermarkets and shops, and thus all the videos on the channel. The tracks on this side are good. It's interesting where there is objects and things missing or pulled off the front. If you're ever coming to Moscow and you're wanting to do some of the things in the city, this is actually not too far from the center of Moscow by metro. It's got a very interesting metro station here, Park Pobeda. It was for a very long time the longest escalator ride in the Moscow metro, until they put one a little bit longer at another station. But if you ride the escalator, it takes about 3 minutes from the platform to the street level. T64. A few tanks in the back here. This is actually the very edge of the whole Park Pobeda district. The actual walk back to the metro station, it's probably about half an hour walk. I came at the other end at Minskaya, and I know it's a lot closer to get to this place from there. So this one doesn't really appear to have damage. Possibly inside, who knows? They're very low profile. There can't be a lot of space in there for more than one or two operators. Yeah, this sound coming across the speakers is, I guess it gives you some sort of a feeling or a bit of a chill at the same time. The American M1A1SA. Yes, first put into service in the 1970s from General Dynamics. And just the size of it is, you're looking at 3 times the size of a car. It's had some serious damage to the top of it right here. Some other photos of some of the past events dating back to USSR and pre-Soviet Union times. And how fast that they rust. I mean, we're about a month away from snowfall here in Moscow, so it'll be interesting if they keep this for longer or not. You can definitely come here in winter time. It's actually a beautiful park to walk through and enjoy the location that you're in.
Okay. In
Moscow. This one's had also modifications. These plates that look like they've been screwed on. And whatever was in these clips at the front has been removed. So the M2A2, it's got a bit of a lean on it, and obviously the tracks are off on this right side right here. Keep walking around a little bit more and try and get through all the different equipment here. The International MaxxPro. See, I just noticed on the signs too, it tells you where the vehicle was recovered from. At the same time, I am interested, I think, that some of these were involved in Desert Storm or perhaps in Afghanistan because of this color scheme. And then also a lot of these are very much wheeled vehicles, which in Russia, Ukraine, and particularly in that region, these vehicles are not overly suited to the conditions, particularly at this time of year when it's moving into autumn and then winter, and the rain and mud, you know, they're just not designed for that, versus if they were in deserts and in territory that's a lot more flatter and, you know, a lot more easier to navigate. Wow, the damage. I mean, just literally the cables hanging out, I guess that's the battery box right there. It's interesting. I'm going to walk back towards the exit. And Roshel Senator, Canadian made. So imagine some of these have obviously had fires and extreme heat that they've been affected by, and then all this shrapnel damage in the wheels just gone. And the thing is, they're not stripped apart and then brought here. They're quite literally removed and then brought back to Russian territory. And there's nothing you can really take away from these apart from, you know, looking at the damage and working out what happened, how, what, when, where. I mean, have a look again at this unit right here, just the sheer size and the height of them. Another International MaxxPro 139466. So I wonder if at some point somebody is tracking the models or the serial numbers or the chassis numbers to understand which ones were which. And have a look at this damage on the door right here. And then inside, it's interesting, some things are just completely deteriorated, and then other things, you know, like the door locks and the handles are all okay. And even this doorstep as well. You can just hear the trains on the other side of this embankment. It actually is kind of quite a drop off to where the train line is. So I think there was obviously some information about this exhibition opening, but not too much in terms of local media. There is that many museums in Russia that you can go to. The Roshel Senator, quite a serial number on it here written. And again, all this rusting of the shell once the wheels and tires are gone. You can't really make out much of the actual unit when you look at it. And there's some numbering on it. You can see the exhaust in the back, and then everything else even the window damage. I mean, I wonder if it's from heat or just kind of a impact that it's taken. And even the brakes are right there. I think another tank right here. You can see the tracks missing. I imagine at some point they get damaged to the point that they're not fixable in place, so they just get left as they are. The Armada 1A3. So sort of one side is okay, and then this other side has taken some kind of a hit just here. You can see all the internal workings and whatever these covers we're keeping here, and the turrets at the top. I mean, where we've walked around here, kind of all the different units. Okay, this one is pretty much impossible to see anything inside, but some of the other parts are just thrown in there, and then that's it. There's another one of the American MaxxPro units right here, and this yellow or cream color is very noticeable when you look at it. This took some serious damage on this side right here, right to this front area where the engine would have been, and just completely sheared off the control arms. I wonder any of these numbers or lettering has any references. Lifting points, in case you're wanting to know. Trailer connector, stand clear. So I imagine this door comes down and they sit off the ground so high as well. That front window's missing on one side, and all of the door mechanism still there, and then even the electronics in the dashboard are in place. Now, when I came here, there was a young gentleman who's just walking around and interacting with people, and it's interesting just to speak with him about this display. And he was saying that when he was going through university, his thesis was on World War I. So his knowledge of events that happened in the past is really very extensive. And the fact that you can talk to someone that's no more than university age, and their knowledge of the military and past events. He's very knowledgeable. The Kirpi from Turkey. And again, the axles and the wheel units are just gone on the side of these completely. 41310. You can't even make out any of the interior whatsoever. Even just the glass and the interior's melted right on the side. And the axle and the leaf spring is all attached, but then everything else been absolutely finished inside. Nothing that's recognizable. Wow. Just the way that these have taken damage. You know, there's obviously vulnerabilities to them. If you look off in the distance, you can see the towers of Moscow City. I was going to say the back end looks in good condition, and it's obviously taken some front end hit. Another Roshel Senator, Ford F550. So it's obviously had some sort of impact on the front engine. It's even a sticker on the windscreen.
Okay.
As we see the Bushmaster, as we get back towards the front, oh, we can't see inside. In the actual rear cabin, looks reasonably okay. And even inside, seat's still there, and then the actual dashboard. There's a couple of quite different looking units here at the very beginning. So this tracked personnel carrier, M113. It's even got some netting on it, or it did have. Oh, so I wonder if this was maybe troop recovery. And then inside, that's the damage it's taken. Again, so the tracks are there, but just the fact they've melted and just perished at the same time. There's even a truck here as well. Now I'm literally just walking around. You can see this from the footage. I don't do any editing and, you know, trickery to the videos. So Japanese flag. It's a Mitsubishi L200. It's interesting. I don't know if Japan supplied these, or if just the fact that it's a Japanese truck. Okay, so this was actually supplied by Lithuania to Ukraine. So the Japanese flag is really because of the manufacturing of the vehicle. And these were essentially just a passenger vehicle, quite literally. And then for use, they put these crosses on it to indicate that it was one side or the other. As the lights come on, these are very much just a passenger vehicle, and it's took some damage, and these have got no protection whatsoever. So the Lithuanian government would have supplied however many of these, and then it's ended up in this state. I mean, very little damage really, just almost superficial, if that's the word, but just not usable. You know, the fact that they're not going to tow them back somewhere and then repair them, they wouldn't have spare parts. I mean, I'm very curious from an Australian point of view with the Bushmaster. You know, did they send spares? Did they send parts that they could use to basically repair them at some point? It'll be interesting to know. You know, maybe the fact that these have been recovered in place, it's just not feasible for them to do anything to them. As I come to the end of the video, I hope you found this walk around interesting, and I just want to give a shout out to Phil, my Australian friend who was here in Russia last year. We actually came to Park Pobeda to see the exhibits on the other side of the park. We actually walked around this area to see some of the World War II exhibits. This wasn't here, this only opened a few weeks ago, and he mentioned about this thing to me. Imagine he found about this exhibit from social media in Australia, and I live a train ride away and I wasn't aware of it. So I hope it was an interesting walk around. Of course, I'm not giving any details or, you know, historical information about what we saw. I've just walked around, I've shown you the signs, I've shown you the vehicles, and that's the sort of style of video that I do for a lot of walking and talking type videos, as the speakers are a little bit louder right here. Thank you everybody for watching. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. Of course, this is quite different to a lot of my regular content. However, I do a lot of things that talk about typical life here in Russia. Now, of course, I could visit numerous museums that are here. The one that's right here on Park Pobeda. There's also Park Patriot, which I've been to as well. It's difficult to, you know, want to make videos about these things. You know, there is a lot of history, both current and in the past, that's not simple to talk about. And I hope just doing this walk around is a little bit insightful. And, you know, this is not on the 6 o'clock news in Moscow telling you to come here. You know, people come to this area to see the greater sort of grounds and district where we are. I mean, I've not seen more than 3 or 4 people the whole time I've been here. However, this is a working day, and it's a little bit cooler now. Today is only about 5 Celsius, so it's definitely still very manageable before we get down to minus weather in winter time. So thanks. Thumbs up, post a comment. I'm sure I'm going to read lots of comments on this video. I'm going to go and walk to the train station and head home. My Telegram is right here if you want to follow me there. And then if you want to watch an old video on the channel,
okay, what's this one used?
Why is one coming up right now? Like you can check that out and keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody, I'm off on another adventure. Bye.
Wow, quite a tragic and interesting video at the same time. All right, I can only imagine the amount of money that were put into these vehicles that were captured. Lots of people's money, people's taxes in all this equipment and vehicles. Wow, this is really an interesting video from Traveling with Roshel. Share your thoughts and your opinion in the comment section. All right, people think Russia cannot stand NATO, and before these vehicles were captured, all right, lives were lost on both ends. All right, so it's I mean, let there just be peace. Like, I just want peace between this country. Like, I really cannot wait for this country to be peaceful again, to unite with love, unity. All right. I think when that time comes, I'm literally going to throw a party from my country right here. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Roshel, for sharing this video with us, and see you guys on my next one. Bye.